Welcome to the 23rd installment of ESPN the Honolulu Fan Fridays Talk Story. I'm your host, Tiff Wells. With me today is redshirt junior first baseman from Rainbow Warrior Baseball, Alex Baeza. Alex, welcome to Talk Story.
How's it going?
We're doing well. How was everything from that road trip to Arizona State?
It was good. We just got back yesterday, so just getting back and just getting ready for next week against HBU.
A lot of baseball, but you've been playing this game for quite some time. When did you first start getting into baseball?
The first time I played I was about 3 years old, and just been playing ever since. Started with T-ball, a little bit of, I think maybe a little bit of coach pitch, can't really remember, and then straight into travel ball and high school ball, and now here.
Were you always a first baseman?
Yeah, that was the main position I've always played. I played a little bit of outfield growing up and pitched a little bit in high school, and started to realize I didn't throw hard enough to pitch and I didn't run fast enough to play outfield, so they stuck me in the corner.
You talk about all those positions. Which was your favorite and which one was your least favorite?
By far favorite is first base. That's where I feel just the most confident, the quickest. It's just reactions in the corner. Everything comes quick, so I feel like that's where I'm at my best. And my least favorite was probably pitching, just with all the arm soreness and then all the conditioning to do with it. That wasn't my favorite position.
You mentioned first base growing up, and that's been your favorite one. That's where you've been here at UH for the last couple of seasons. Who were some of the first basemen in the pros that you sort of tried to emulate your game after? Who did you enjoy watching play that position growing up?
Yeah, growing up, I loved watching Adrian Gonzalez. I was born in LA, so he played for the Dodgers for a little while. I know he was with the Padres for a good part of his career, but when he was with the Dodgers, I really liked watching him. Big left-handed first baseman, and now I really like watching Eric Hosmer. Kind of the same type of build, tall, kind of lengthy body, good defensively with a good bat. So those are the two guys I really like watching.
What are some of your favorite childhood memories, or is there one that sticks out as you think about your days growing up in baseball? What is maybe your favorite childhood memory?
Probably going to Cooperstown, New York when we were 12 years old. Get to do that trip. It's just a week. You get to leave school and go hang out with all your friends and your team and people across the country, and just go to this amazing baseball town and stay in the dorms kind of, and just playing wiffle ball, baseball 24/7 for a full week.
You mentioned the fact that you were a pitcher, but it's also the least favorite of the positions you've played. Now, Major League Baseball has pitchers or position players pitching from time to time. If Coach Trapp needed you to pitch and you were 10-4 in your junior and senior seasons combined, there's nobody on base. Are you in full windup mode, or are you in stretch mode?
I'd probably go full windup. That's what I always did. I can't promise you there'd be any firm fastballs coming in, but I might be able to get it 60 feet.
Get it 60 feet, 6 inches. That's quite key. What would be the go-to pitch? And if it was clocked on the radar gun, what would be that velocity?
Ooh, probably the fastball. That's the only thing I really know how to throw, and probably 83, 84 miles an hour. Nothing too firm coming out of my hands.
You're born in Van Nuys. You mentioned about growing up in Los Angeles, but the fact that on your bio on the Hawaii Athletics website, it lists West Jordan, Utah as the hometown. When did the family move there, and what led to you guys going from California to Utah?
We moved when I was about 8 years old and been there ever since. Just all around Utah. Been to West Jordan, South Jordan, back and forth. But yeah, I've been there since I was 8 years old. We moved for my dad's job and just a new scenery. I don't even think I could have pointed out Utah on a map when we moved. But been there ever since. Went to high school there. It's a great place. When I was 8 years old, I don't think I could have told you where Utah was.
As a sophomore in high school, we're going to go back a few years. This is 2014. You guys win states. Describe that moment for us.
So I actually wasn't on that team. I was a sophomore at a smaller school, and I transferred the year after. I spent my first 2 years at a Catholic private school, really small school, and I transferred my junior year for baseball purposes and being able to play in a bigger school, get seen by college coaches and scouts. So I actually wasn't on that team my sophomore year. I transferred the year after, so I just missed the state championship.
You also played 1 year in basketball during high school. Were you more of a shooter? Were you a passer? Were you a post player? What kind of basketball player were you?
I was definitely a shooter. Definitely a shooter. I didn't like to put the ball on the ground. I didn't like to pass the ball. I wanted to get on the wing and just put the ball up.
You're in Utah for quite some time. You were born in LA, like you said. There's only one pro team in Utah, and that's the Jazz of the NBA. Was it tough to follow a baseball team that didn't play in this state where you were living now?
Not really. Growing up, my birthday's in April, always right around opening day. And growing up in LA, my birthday present was always getting to go to a Dodger game. So I'd follow them. Even to this day, I watch almost every game of the season. We got a couple other Dodger fans, Dustin Demeter, Tyler Dieball. So we got a little crew that get together every day and watch the games. So it's a little fan section, but yeah. Growing up in Utah, my dad would buy the MLB extra innings, so we got to watch every Dodger game, except for when they'd be in Arizona or Colorado, it'd be blacked out, so that was tough. But we'd still get to watch a good 100 or so games every year.
Now the 2020 season for MLB was somewhat shortened, but your Dodgers won not just the NL pennant, but also the World Series. Where were you when they won, and how happy were you when that final out was made?
I was actually with those two guys I just mentioned. I was with Tyler Dieball and Dustin Demeter. We were at Dustin's house. The whole playoffs, we were at Dustin's house because every time we come to my house to watch the game, they so we weren't going to risk it in the World Series. So we went back to Dustin's house, and there may or may not have been a few tears shed between us three, but it was a good moment.
Baseball players, I tell you, they have some superstitions. What besides the one you just mentioned to us? What are a couple of other superstitions you have?
I got kind of a little bit of superstitions. I'm more rituals, I'd say, or routines. I get up on, like, for instance, for this road game, we'd leave. I think bus left at like 12:30. I got up at like 7:30, went to the little gym, did my same warm-up routine, ate the same breakfast I did the day before, put my right sock on before my left one, tie my right shoe before I put my left shoe on, stuff like that. I got to have my belt on the loops of my pants before I put my jersey on, stuff like that. Just little things that just happen to make me feel like I'm a little bit more just the same every day. Same ritual, same routine every day.
Had you been to Hawaii prior to enrolling as a freshman, and what led you on signing day to pick and play for UH?
So the only time I had ever been to Hawaii was on my official visit. And just coming out here, I was here for 48 hours, and just the weather here, watching the team was inter-squatting, and just the interaction between the guys, and a little bit of a talking back and forth, getting under each other's skin, that kind of just the brotherhood that there was. And then so the guy who had me on my visit, Ethan Lopez, he was a big reason why I came here. I just really meshed with him. I ended up actually living with him my first 3 years here until he graduated. So that was a big thing. Just the way we clicked, Ethan and I, that really got me to commit here.
You had played pretty much every year growing up with baseball. Was it tough to redshirt that 2017 season? And what did you learn as you were away from the game for a year?
Yeah, it was tough. Everyone coming into college, obviously, at their high school is probably one of the top guys, if not the top guy on their team. So it was a little bit of a wake-up call, but I knew coming into it, nothing was going to be handed to me, and I really took that as a positive note. And really, I came in think 165 pounds and 6'4". So I was really, really skinny. So I took that year and really got in the weight room, ate as much as I could, gained weight, and tried to get as ready physically and mentally for the next season.
When you're on first and you're holding on a base runner, are you talkative to that base runner? And if so, what are some of the conversations like between you and the opposing runner?
Yeah, I talk all game long. I'll lose my mind if I can't keep talking. I'm talking to the base runners, the first base coach, the umpire, anybody that's near me. I'm having a conversation. But in general, with the runners, probably just asking them about their at bats, what they're seeing, how our pitchers are looking. Tell them that was a good swing, and then once they get their leads, anything that comes to mind, because a lot of times base runners will look at me to keep a conversation going instead of keeping their eyes on the pitcher. And we'll see if we can't sneak a pickoff move and get them off the base anyway.
Has number 10 always been your number of choice?
No, actually. So my number of choice has always been something to do with my birthday. So April's the 4th month, and April 3rd, the 3rd day. So my number was always 3, 4, 43, something to do with my birthday. And when I got here, Coach Trapp actually gave me number 10. And it was just like at first sight, I was like, that's kind of a cool number. I looked up all major league players who have number 10, see what they were like. I saw Justin Turner, Adam Jones at the time. I was like, okay, this is a good number. I think I'll keep it for now.
And Justin Turner, another Dodger, right? Another reason to have 10, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Your redshirt freshman season, 2018, maybe a highlight of the team going to one of arguably the top places to play college baseball, and that's the LSU and the Alex Baeza Stadium. To play in that atmosphere, to take a game off of the Tigers, who were nationally ranked at the time, what did you take away from that experience?
I think just the business side of the sport. I mean, we go in there and it's easy to get just wide-eyed and see 16,000 fans on a Friday night and all the fancy equipment and their fancy batting cages and amazing stadium. But at the end of the day, we're there to play a game, and they're there to beat us, and we're there to beat them. So it's just whoever can stay focused the most. And they're not any more surprised playing Hawaii. So we got to stay focused. So that was the biggest thing, especially at an early age. I think I was still 18, 19 years old. So being able to go somewhere big like that with a ranked opponent, I think has really helped me mature and be able to just show up every day, no matter what the name on the front of the jersey says. It's just another day.
2019, the season opener against Portland. What do you remember about your first collegiate home run?
I remember it being a changeup up in the zone, and I remember seeing the right fielder chase the ball down, and I almost missed first base because I was looking at the ball. And so at the left, when you hear the crowd go, the turf starts to shake a little bit. So you're looking at first base, and the base is shaking a little bit, and you're trying to put your foot on the base, and then your emotions and everything start going, and it's tough. But yeah, I remember I had never hit a home run, and especially at the left, it's a tough place to hit. So hitting it there for the first one was really special. I remember just shaking the whole way around the bases, just adrenaline pumping through my body.
The last one here before we take our break, Alex. To be named honorable mention all conference in 2019, what did that accolade mean to you?
It meant a lot. That's what you set out to do every year. You want to help the team win as best as you can, and if you can do that consistently, the numbers will follow. But at the end of the day, those are great. I'd love to have more honorable mention, first team, second team, whatever it may be. But at the end of the day, I look forward to team wins and getting to a regional. We haven't done that in a while here, and that's what we're all of our eyes are set on this year.
Alex, we got to take our break right here, but stay right there. Along with Alex Baeza from Rainbow Warrior Baseball, I'm Tiff Wells. You're listening to ESPN, the Honolulu Fan Friday Top Story. welcome back to episode 23 of ESPN Honolulu Fan Friday Top Story. I'm Tiff Wells. We're here with Baseball redshirt junior first baseman Alex Baeza. Now, Alex, you guys go to Nashville last year. You take on nationally ranked Vanderbilt. How did that series help you? How did it help the team move forward?
I think it helped us by being able to see such dominant arms in their pitching staff day in, day out. Every arm they threw out was just as good as the guy before him. But normally in a 3-game series, you have the 5, 6 top arms, and then you can get into their bullpen and make them work a little bit. And that club had everybody, pitching staff, their lineup, everybody off the bench was just as good as the last guy. So it was really just a fight day in and day out. But being able to see that, I think, has really helped the team just mature and be ready day in, day out. It doesn't matter who's on the mound, what team we're facing. It's just focusing on the next pitch.
One of those pitchers you talked about, you guys actually didn't face, and we're talking about Kumar Rocker, arguably one of the top arms in the country and maybe a top 5, probably a top 10 draft pick when he does come out into the draft. If you're in the box and you're facing him for the first time, what is your plate approach? What is your mindset as you go in?
With Kumar, I know he's got a lot of good off-speed pitches. They got good spin and they're sharp, and he likes to bury them. So probably trying to see something up in the zone early in the count, not let him get too much ahead of me, and try and get something straight early in the count and get out of there with a barrel.
We talked about your home run in 2019. Last year in the season opener, Dustin Demeter had the walk-off homer against UH Hilo. Where were you when Demeter hit that walk-off bomb?
I think everybody was top step in the dugout during that at-bat. I mean, that guy – everybody saw it the first 2 years. He can flat out rake. That guy hits everything. Anytime he wants, he can put a barrel on a baseball. And for him to have to sit out his junior year with the double hip surgery, you could just really see the disappointment in his face. But he worked his butt off for a full year, finally got back, and the game paid him. And I think nobody was happier for anybody on that field than him. That he deserved it.
What would be the final series of the year last year before COVID hit? The series against Oregon, you had 3 hits and 3 RBIs. To face Power 5 pitching, how does that help you guys when you move into conference play in the Big West?
I think it helps out a lot. With Power 5 arms, you see a lot of velocity, a lot of guys who like to challenge you with fastballs. And in the Big West as well, I think the pitching staffs get a little underestimated. There's some good arms in the Big West Conference. They're always stacked over Santa Barbara, Long Beach State, Fullerton, whoever it may be. Everybody's got their guys. And seeing guys in Power 5 Conference with 94, 95 mile an hour on their fastball with a good breaking ball, that just gets us more prepared for those 3-game grueling weekends once conference comes around.
You guys take 3 or 4 against Oregon last year. You're getting ready for that next series against Chicago State. And then one thing happens after another. You go from that series against Chicago State being canceled to the rest of the regular season canceled. Of course, the Big West Conference postpones and cancels their season. Take us through that week of emotions. What was that like?
I think at first it was just shock. We were all, especially in Hawaii, there wasn't that many cases at the time. We had heard about the whole pandemic, but we didn't really have anything around us. Everything was normal for us. And we came home from Vanderbilt and had heard it. And we had heard Oregon might not be coming, and then they did. Everything was fine. And then the next weekend, Chicago State was actually here already. And the weekend got cut down, I think the night before opening night. And so it was just a lot of buildup, and then all of a sudden just completely stand still. You have no idea what you're doing now. And for a lot of guys, especially like Tyler Murray, Logan Poulsen, who it was their last year, they didn't know if they would get another season back or if they were just done. So that was really tough to see, but luckily they got their season back. They're back for another year, and everything seems to have worked out. and at least now we can play some baseball.
During that time, how did you stay in shape both physically and mentally?
Physically, our trainer helps out a lot. Wade Yamasaki, he does a lot behind closed doors that he doesn't get enough credit for. So I got to shout him out right now. He definitely deserves a lot more than what he gets credit for. He helps everybody just stay in shape, stay ready, whatever you need. He's here 5 a.m. to 5 p.m. every night. And I stayed here till about June, working with him every morning for about an hour, 2 hours, just getting the body right, and then went home. And I was lucky enough, my dad has a little squat rack in our basement at home, so I was able to get some workouts in at home, just stay in shape however best I could. We had a pop-up net and a tee and a bunch of wiffle balls I'd hit into the net every day. And I think that's what a lot of guys were doing. There weren't a lot of facilities open. You couldn't go out to parks for a while. So just whatever you could, just swinging, looking at yourself in a mirror, taking dry swings, whatever it was, just staying in a routine, whatever it may be.
You mentioned the squat rack at home. Who squats more? And be honest here, you or dad?
I definitely got dad. Bench press, he might have me, but he's got a bad back, so the legs aren't there. But I'll let him have the bench press. He can bench a little bit more than I can.
One of your teammates, and we'll be right up front with this one. The guy that leads you guys off, Scotty Scott, has a couple of notable phrases that have really stuck these last 2 years. From when it rains, it bows to party at the less. Which is your favorite and why?
I like party at the less. That's kind of been a saying that's been around since my freshman year. But Scotty's really just put that out there. Every post, he's hashtagging it, he's getting it out there. And that's what he's really good at. He's good at getting us noticed, stuff like that. But party at the less, that's my favorite. Just getting the crowd ready. They love it. They come out and we got the cheapest beer, and fans get crazy. They start partying in the stands, and then we score some runs, and it's actually a party at the less on a Friday night.
And that was going to be my next question, Alex. The fact that Friday nights at the less, they'll be a little bit different this year. More than likely, no fans in the stands. But for the last couple of years, especially on those Friday nights, win or lose, whatever the weather may be, the kids always come down to the field and they ask for autographs, pictures, what have you. When you get this chance to be a role model for the kids and a little one asks you for a picture or for an autograph, what's that feeling like?
It's an amazing feeling. A lot of times with baseball, you get stuck in your results or how you're doing, and it's easy to get stuck in the highs and lows of baseball. And on those Friday nights, when you see all those kids running up to you, even if you're 0 for 4 or you lose the game, they're still running up to you with a big smile. You made their day. They just want an autograph or a picture. That's just it takes all the negativity out of the way from the sport. Just that could be the only chance that kid has to watch you play, and you made their day. So just going to the field every day and knowing that there could be a kid in the stands that day that looks up to you and he wants to see the way you play, and that could form the way he plays the game one day. So that's something that you don't get to see a lot of places, and it's really special getting to play here in Hawaii.
On a scale of 1 to 10, when you found out this past January that the Big West Conference indeed was saying spring sports are a go, what is your level of excitement, and where were you when you found out that news?
Oh, I don't even know if I could calculate my excitement. That was just off the charts. I know I was at home. We had just gotten back here. We had started practicing a few weeks before school started. So I think, I was at my apartment, and when we got to go, it was finally like we have something to strive for. Because for so long, it was just working for just that small chance that we might play. So there was always that little bit of doubt, and it was easy to get down on yourself. Like, why am I still working if we don't have a season? But once we got that okay, there's huge weight lifted off everybody's shoulders. Now we know we can go play, we can relax and get back into it.
That roller coaster from last year, from the Oregon series and then the Chicago State series being canceled to the season then being canceled, who knew when baseball was going to resume for collegiately? And then, of course, we just talked about this past January with the Big West saying spring sports were a go. When you guys went to Tempe, when did it finally hit you that 2021 college baseball was including Hawaii, and how did it feel to be a part of it, even though the season had already been going for the last couple of weeks?
Yeah, so for me personally, it didn't hit me until the national anthem on Friday night. So even we flew in, we had a practice Thursday night, we went through all of BP, pregame, everything on Friday, and it just felt like another day. I was fine. As soon as they announced the lineups, the national anthem started going. I started shaking a little bit, hands got a little tingly, adrenaline was kicking in, and it was just like, wow, we're back. And it was honestly one of the coolest feelings, and it was just like I was a horse in blinders. I was locked into everything, and I'm sure everybody had the same feeling. And it was just great to be back finally.
All UH teams log a ton of miles, and you guys just logged about what, 4,000 or 5,000 or so heading to Arizona this past weekend. In your carry-on case, what are 2 or 3 things that you have to have when you're on a plane for that long?
I definitely have to have my headphones. I gotta have music and a neck pillow for sure. Gotta have the neck pillow for the flight. And then I have a little travel massage gun that my girlfriend got me for Christmas, and that's a game changer on the flight, especially being a big guy like I am. You don't have much leg room. You get really stiff. So being able to bring that out and just massage the legs out for a little bit, that's a game changer on the flight.
When the opposing team announces their starting rotation, how do you prepare to face each pitcher?
So our hitting coach, Mike Brown, actually does a really good job of getting us film from their previous starts, whether it be from a year ago or a week or whatever it is. We see every pitch they threw last week against, for example, Arizona State. We saw every pitch their pitchers threw against Sac State the week before. So we know their tendencies. We know what pitches they like to throw in certain situations. And we have it on a chart in the dugout, and they do the same thing with us. So just really being able to do our homework beforehand and not feel like you're just seeing a guy for the first time when he steps on the mound against you makes a world of a difference.
That season opening game last week, Friday, against nationally ranked Arizona State, describe the pitching performance of Aaron Davenport.
It's just another day for him. It seems like every time he goes out there, he's going 7 innings, 7, 8 strikeouts, and it doesn't matter if it could feel like he's struggling out there or he's dominating. It seems like the stat line's always the same. He's the same guy every day, and that's why he pitches on Fridays, because we know what we're going to get out of him. He's going to go out there, give it his all, and at the end of the day, he's going to have 7 strong innings and still have that amazing hair.
You mentioned that season opening game and how nervous you were, and it didn't hit you until the anthem hit. Take us through that at bat in the 5th inning, 2-2 count, and you go yard to open up the season.
Yeah, so that was actually my second at bat against him. The starter had gotten taken out after the first, and he came in the second inning. I was on the fastball, fouled off a couple of them, so he started going to the changeup. And in my first at bat, I actually was able to sit back on a changeup, pretty good pitch, and just flick it over the shortstop. And so I knew after that he wasn't really going to want to go to a changeup with 2 strikes because I had already beat him with it. And he tried to go with a fastball inside, and he had been doing that occasionally to lefties before me. So that was a good thing. I got to watch him throw to Demeter, Scotty, and Cardenas ahead of me, and with 2 strikes, he liked busting guys in. So I kind of had that in the back of my mind. Once he got to 2 strikes, he wanted to come in and bust guys in a little bit. So I just kind of got into a 2-strike approach, no stride, and just tried to play pepper with the ball and got a good piece of barrel on it.
And a pretty good piece of barrel as it went pretty far. Now, who's the better cook at home, mom or dad?
I got to say mom. Dad definitely loves his Traeger. He loves smoking ribs or whatever it might be, but mom does the heavy loading on the cooking, so she definitely takes the cake on that one.
What's the 1 or 2 dishes you ask her to make when you head home?
So my mom makes amazing Mexican food. So every time I go home, first thing I want is some chile verde. or some pozole. Every time I go home, that's the first thing I go home and ask for. And she's always ready for it. Sometimes I go home and I don't even have to ask. It's already ready when I come home from the airport.
Hawaii Athletics had a series called Bo's Kitchen this past year. Coaches and players kind of described their favorite dish and what kind of steps it took to make it. If you were asked to take part in this, what would your dish be and why?
Ooh, that's a tough one. I'm not that big of a cook, but I'm getting there. I'm learning. But I would probably say make some like chicken Alfredo. Not too difficult, but tastes pretty good. I would definitely do some chicken Alfredo on that show.
We saw last week where there's a new program for the baseball team. It's called Doubles for Dollars. Now, 2 doubles through the first 3 games of this year. Matt Campos and also Cole Kaler had those doubles. In your best guess, which UH player ends the season with the most doubles?
I would have to say with the guy who led the team last year, Cole Kaler. That guy, it seems like every time he steps up to the plate, he's standing on second base at the end of the at-bat. He went 10 months without an at-bat, and his first at-bat, he's standing on second again. It's like he never lost a step. He's going to do it every day, and that's why he's our everyday shortstop, and that's why he's one of the greatest in the country.
For those young boys and young girls out there that are into both baseball and or softball, what would your message be to them as we continue to go through this pandemic?
Just keep a steady head every day. Have little focuses, little goals that you want to achieve, and make it as simple as you can. Try not to think about what you can't control. Keep it in what you can control, and just keep the game as simple and as fun as possible.
Last one here for you, Alex. We know how supportive you folks are and how much the fans support this program. If you had a message for those Rainbow Warrior baseball fans out there, what would you like to tell them?
Just tune in this year. We're going to miss you guys. You guys make this atmosphere one of the best in the country. I hear it every year from guys coming in, playing us. Every time they get on first base, they say that there's no atmosphere like the one at the Les. We're really going to miss you guys, but we know you'll be watching, and we'll put on a good show for you this year.
I lied. One more. Last regional trip, 2010, to make the regionals here in 2021. What would that mean for the program?
Oh, that'd be a huge step for the program, just getting our name out there. We have the talent to do it. I think we have a really great group. I think if we just keep ourselves focused, one pitch at a time, taking it day by day, we can see ourselves in a regional and make the state of Hawaii proud.
Alex, this has been so much fun. We appreciate the time you've given us today. Thank you so much. Best of luck this week against HPU and the rest of the season.
Thank you.
For Alex Baeza, as well as the rest of us here at ESPN Honolulu, I'm Tiff Wells saying thank you so much for watching us here on the 23rd edition of ESPN Honolulu Fan Friday Top Story. Until next time, wear that mask, be safe, and stay socially distant.